Coach, I want to thank you and Coach Capone for everything that you're doing. You know, one of the things that Coach Capone said to me a long time ago was the game's bigger than you, and you always want to give back. And I certainly think nobody does that more than Coach Capone does. But Coach Hath, what you're doing right now is tremendous for the game, giving back. So appreciate you having me on, and excited to share some things with you guys. You guys have a really special fraternity up there with the Maine Football Coaches Association. You know, being away for 4 years, you know, really makes me appreciate everything that you guys do. And you got a tight-knit group up there, and it's great that you're helping each other out. And hopefully I can share a couple of things with you today to help you guys out. So my presentation today is not 3-3 specific. Everything is based off the 3-3 because that's what I do. But what I wanted to do was give you guys something that you could incorporate into your defensive schemes regardless of what you run. So it's not 3-3 specific. Certainly you can apply it if you are a 3-3 guy, you know, but I wanted to give you so what I guess what I'm asking is, you know, I want you guys to think outside the box a little bit from what you do with your blitz package right now to how we do things with ours, and see if there's something you can pick up that you can add into your blitz. I would hope that everybody, you know, blitzes a little bit. If you don't, then it really must be a boring time on defense, because I couldn't imagine sitting in base defense every day. So, you know, we'll talk more about that in a minute. So any chat questions, you know, any questions you have during this, feel free to throw them up in the chat. And I know Coach Hath will get them to me, but I'd rather wait till the end and then, you know, turn everybody's mics on and chat it up. I'll stay on as long as you guys want, and we can ask questions, and you know, might be a little bit better doing that. But however you want to do it's fine with me. I'll do the best I can. All right, real quick, our pressure philosophy, defensive guys, we're all screwed. The offensive guys, they have an answer for everything. The 3 techniques here, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. So, you know, we really don't stand a chance in today's world. So 11 years ago, I got tired of that. And, you know, we went down to Villanova and did some research. We're going to do what we do, and we really don't give a shit what you do offensively. You know, Coach Capone always would tell me that, you know, if you're a zone team, be a zone team. If you're a man team, be a man team, but don't try to be everything. And he would always kind of put me in my place when I would, you know, start to get the mad scientist thing going on, and just do what we do and do it well. So we really don't give a shit what you guys do offensively. I think it's awesome, you know. Coach Lip and Coach Hath are, you know, 2 great offensive minds on here, you know, looking to see what we do defensively. So, you know, my big thing is you guys need to be ready to adjust to us. We're not going to adjust to you, and I really don't care what you guys do offensively. You need to be ready to adjust to what we do. Pressure is the staple of our defense. We're going to blitz a high percentage of the time and trying to create big plays. I really want to thank Coach Mark Harriman, you know, for back in 2009, allowing us to go down to Villanova and kind of think outside the box at the time. You know, you guys that know Coach Harriman, he's a certain way of doing things, and he allowed us to, you know, kind of go and do some research and come back with something that nobody was doing in the area or in the NESCAC for sure. You know, and Mark Reardon and Clint Wiley and Billy Crocker, who's down at Elon now, and Dan Bloom, you know, really want to thank those guys for everything they shared with us. We always have believed that all defensive players love to blitz, love to be aggressive, love to attack, love to play on the edge. You know, you hear Coach Coop talking the other day, and one of the things that we say, similar to what he says, is we're going to play through the echo of the whistle. And that's the term that we use. We want guys having to dive over piles to avoid late hits. You know, and that's the mentality we try to play with. We want to play fast. We want to cause havoc. We want to create turnovers. A big thing for us, we want to create an environment that's full of energy and fun for the players to take ownership in. You know, we've been running this system now for 11 years. Been running it at the college level, been running it at the semi-pro level, been running it at the high school level. So it's proven that it stood the test of time. With every stop that we've had success. Yeah, a lot of it has to do with players, but a couple of the places that we've been haven't been real good when we got there. You know, and I think the way we run our defense has allowed our kids to be successful. So, you know, I think it's proven itself. So when we get into this, the paths of all our blitz categories are going to be multiple, but the premise is going to remain the same. We're going to fill our gaps hard and fast to be sound versus the run, while attacking protections and creating overloads in the pass game. That's the big thing for us. We're going to try to attack protections all the time in the pass game and get the ball out. For us, we want to be unpredictable, which I feel in turns dictates to the offense that they're going to become predictable. Talking with Eddie Mysteri when he was at Colby, he says we tried to really simplify, what we did offensively because we never knew what you guys were doing. So it kind of makes offenses a little bit more predictable when you're blitzing such a high percentage of the time. And then, one of the things, getting back to Coach Hathaway and Coach Lippert, Coach Weiss was big for me on this. It's always, I think you guys were talking the other day, Hath and Lip, you guys were talking about how much you spend time on offense. You dabble with it a little bit. You kind of, one of the things is Coach Weiss would always come in and I'd be struggling with, blitz direction here. And he'd come in and take a look at it in 2 seconds would go, well, why aren't you just being bombed? And I'd be like, okay, that makes sense now. So having offensive guys' eyes on what you're doing, I think is really important. So, you offensive guys don't disregard what's going on in defense. And then a big one for us is have a default with your pressures. And we'll get into this in a little bit. No one takes us out of a pressure. We haven't come out of a pressure in 11 years. And there's nobody that's going to get us out of a pressure, okay, for any reason. Again, it's like Coop said the other day. We're going to play zone, we're going to play zone. We're going to play man, we're going to play man. Well, we're going to blitz, we're going to blitz. You're not getting us out of it. All right, so here's real quickly, just so you guys get an idea where this is all coming from. Here's our base defense, our 3-3 stack. Just so you know when we get into the blitzes, where people are and how we deploy and things like that. So our D-line, our Viper nose, and our anchor. Our second level guys, the Rover, the Sam, the Mike, the Outlaw, and the Will, and then our corners and our Freak. So we have 3 guys travel together, 2 pods. So the Rover, the Viper, and the Sam will always travel together to the Roger Lenny call, and the Will, the anchor, and the Outlaw will go away from the Roger Lenny call. For us, we are a field deploy team. We use the uprights to determine where the ball is on the field, not the hash marks. So what that does, it limits, if you think about it, how many times in a game is the ball actually between the uprights? Maybe 4 or 5 snaps a game, if that. The rest of the time, we're getting deployed before the offense even comes out. We don't have to recognize formation right away. We're getting deployed, and now our guys are starting to think formation, what we're doing. So that's been really good for us. If the ball is in between the uprights, then we're going to make our strength call to passing strength. If it's a balanced formation in the middle of the field, then we would go to the quarterbacks most of the time, to the left, to the quarterback's throwing side. Okay, so we're a field-based team. All right, our blitz families. So how we break down the categories, and you'll see how this all ties in together. So the first thing we go over with our guys is our pressure categories. So the main ones that we run are our jokers. So our jokers are one of the 3 inside linebackers are going to blitz. And we'll play that with, so it turns into basically 4-4. We'll play cover 3, 3 bail, cover 1, man free with that. Okay, so jokers are one of the 3 inside linebackers. Apaches are a combination of 2 of the 3 inside linebackers. And we play that with what we call slice coverage. I'm not going to go into a lot of coverage stuff with you guys because that's really not what we're doing here. I want to talk about the actual blitz, how we design our blitz package. Okay, but that's something we can certainly talk about if you want to as we get further along. Okay, so Apaches are 2 of the 3 inside linebackers. Cherokees are a combination of 1 inside linebacker and 1 down safety. So our Rover and our Will, the 2 outside guys, some people call them outside linebackers, we call them sit-down safeties. Our Rover and Will are our 2 down safeties. So Cherokees would be a combination of 1 inside linebacker and 1 down safety. And then our Mohawks are a combination of 1 or 2 of our down safeties. So either our Rover or our Will, or our Rover and our Will. Those 4 categories right there are the main ones that we run. Our 6-man man pressures will be our gangs. Now this is what Coach Capone would never let me run. He would always talk me out of it. The only time we really ran this was down inside the 12-yard line, down in the hut zone where the field is shrunk, and we don't have to worry about the deep ball. So, but I'll go over gangs just so you can see some 6-man pressures. with man coverage with that. And then some of the other stuff we do that I'm not even going to go over here. Down is just the two, Sam and the outlaw on the line of scrimmage, and we do some things from there. Bear, we play, that's a big thing that we do with the 3-3 is we play 46 with it, a lot and get in and out of it. And then we have a roll package, which is a field blitz based off of formation. So if it's 2x2, we're in Cherokee. If it's 3x1, we're in Apache. All right. But the main ones we're going to talk about today are Jokers, Apaches, Cherokees, Mohawks, and gangs. Okay. All right. So you got our blitz categories, our families. Now we go to our directions. All right. Now you'll see how this all ties together, and it really becomes pretty easy once the wristband comes out. All right. So blitz directions, these are not on the wristband. The blitz categories are all on the wristband, as you'll see in a minute. Blitz direction is not on the wristband. The blitz direction is part of the call, and it'll be called first. So strong, weak, tight. I'll go over those in a second. Followed by the blitz family, Joker, Mohawk, Apache, Cherokee. Okay, and then the blitz number on our wristband, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever we have, and then the coverage that's tied with it. So for an example, one of our pressures would be bomb, Cherokee, 1, choice. That would be an example of one of our calls, all right? So blitz directions are important because it gives us all the multiplicity in our blitz package and the number of different ways that we can blitz from, all right? So we could call strong. Strong for us would be 2 passing strength. We could call weak. Weak would be away from passing strength. We could call tight, which would be to a 3-man surface. We could call open, which would be to a 2-man surface. We could call bomb, which would be to the running back offset in the gun. We could call away, which is away from the running back in the gun. We could call wing, which has to be a tight end and a wing. It can't be a tackle and a slot. We determine a wing as a tight end wing, creating an extra gap, okay? We have back, which would be to a fullback, to an H-back. So if you get H-back, you get a lot of that buzz with the H-back back and forth or the fullback back and forth. We can track the back and we can blitz wherever that guy ends up. We used to do that versus Trinity a lot. Field, self-explanatory. Boundary, self-explanatory. And then positions called. So if we just called on the wristband Rover and Sam, then there's no direction needed because we've told the guys, the Rover and Sam, you guys are blitzing, okay? So strong, weak, tight open, bomb away, wing back, field boundary, and positions. I believe that's 11. So we have 11 different ways that we can blitz you from a directional standpoint, right? And you'll see how this adds up to the number of blitzes we can run with no memorization. Before we go any further, the big thing for me with this is, like a lot of you, back before we put this in, our blitzes would be lightning, thunder, hurricane, tornado. Okay, so the kid's going to say, on lightning, I do this. On hurricane, I do this. On tornado, I do this. It was all this memorization, right? And what do we talk about on defense? React. Okay, don't think, play fast, right? So the way we do it with our wristband is we're telling them. I mean, the defensive line doesn't even care any of this. They just look at their wristband. It tells them spark, speed, Oscar, spout, whatever it is, and that's all they need to know. All right, so there's very little memorization with the way that we do it. Okay, so we will direction all of our blitzes with a Ray Lee call, and we'll get into this a little bit further along here, talking about our calls for our blitzes. As a base starting point, Ray and Lee are our directions, right and left. Okay, if it's a field or boundary blitz, then we tell the kids make the Ray Lee call immediately, so that you don't even have to make a call when the offense comes up, which ties into the disguise of our pressures, which becomes critical the more you do this, all right? So we got to get really good at our disguises, okay? Dummy calls. If we're blitzing from the left, we make dummy calls and show blitzes from the right. This is critical to becoming a great blitzing team, and you got to communicate. We always tell the guys a silent defense is a dead defense. So we'll talk more about our disguises here in a few minutes. But basically, if we're blitzing on the left side, we want to show right. If we're blitzing from the right, we want to show left. If we're blitzing from the edges outside, we want to show in the middle. right? And we'll make dummy calls with that, and that, you can incorporate that however you want, right? We let the kids play with that, because I think giving the kids some ownership with it gets them to buy in a little bit to what you're doing if they take some ownership in it, all right? All right, so here are our directions. If you look at them now, so, to the left side of the screen here, boundary, ball's on the left hash. As we're looking at it from a defensive standpoint, it's not on the right hash, you offensive guys. It's on the left hash. So boundary would be to the left. The tight end is to the left. So if we were going to run a tight pressure, it would come from the left. The back is offset away from the quarterback. So that would be an away pressure if we were blitzing from the left side. Weak, because passing strength is to the right. And if they created a wing to the tight end, then you could have a wing pressure to that side. I put positions in the middle because that could be any of the positions. And then to the right side, you have field, obviously, open, two-man surface, bomb. The back is offset to the side that we're blitzing, so that would be a bomb pressure for us. And then strong, because it's passing strength, okay? So that's what the kids got to learn right there, is the directions and what those directions mean, okay? All right, so now we go into our blitz pass. So we've got our families, Jokers, Apaches, Mohawks, Cherokees, gangs, all right? We've got our directions, strong, weak, boundary, field, bomb, away. Now we break our blitzes into our pass. This is all on the wristband. So the kids don't have to memorize this. It's going to tell them what it is. They have to learn what an aim path is, what a blast path is, okay, and what the combinations are off the edge. But they don't have to memorize this when it goes into the blitz, because they'll look on the wristband and it'll say backer aim, backer blast. So they know they're blitzing the B gap. So aim is an A gap blitz, blast is a B gap blitz, crash is a C gap blitz, and then off the edge is really where we make our money. All right, a stinger is we're going to bend off the edge. I'll go over these in a second. And then a fire, the one up top, is a contained blitz path. And then the other four in between are combinations: flood, cross, smoke, and wave. Those are combinations of things we do off the edge. So some key things for us here, with our pressures, when you're installing your blitzes and you're telling a kid to blitz the A gap, well, all right, am I just going to run through the A gap, coach? You need to coach them up on, what they're looking at as they blitz and what their reactions are to blocks. So we break it down in each one of the blitz pass, and we'll run these. There's a lot of carryover between aim, blast, and crash, because you're basically reading the lineman that you're over. So, if it's an aim, it's the mic. Once in a while, it's one of our stack backers, but they're key in the center. If it's a blast, they're key in the guard, all right? So if the center or the guard, whoever you're reading, down blocks, you're gonna bend. So when we practice this, we'll have him creep on the blitz, and we'll have the guy bend. We'll have the guy block down, and we'll have him want to see him bend. We tell him, take the air out of it. You want to close that gap so there's no air between your hip and his ass, right? And we want to bend. If he reaches, we want to rip your gap. So we want to reduce our pads, and we want to rip a gap. Everything we do is rip. We don't teach the kids arm over, and unless you got a special kid, but from most high school kids, we want their pad level down. So we're going to teach them to rip your gap, right? And then verse pass, depending on what they do protection wise, if you blitz and they've split the protection and the back steps up to block you, you have a two-way go on the back. If it's the offensive line in a pass set, you have a two-way go on him. So on our interior blitzes, all right, aim, blast, and crash, we always give our blitzers a two-way go on the lineman or the back. So we teach them, we'll have in practice, we'll have him pass set, we'll have him coming on the blitz in the blast, say he's running a blast, we'll have him sell it like he's going to go into the A gap and then counter and come back to the B gap, okay? Or he's just going to rip his gap. If and then reactions to what the guard does, say it's the guard. If the guard oversets to the outside, we want to bang it, come underneath. If he's flat down to the inside, so you just give him different reactions, okay? And then you have him react to it. All right, but we give them a two-way go in there. We want them, bottom line is we want them to get to the quarterback, okay? All right, so Aim, blast, and crash. Now, obviously, if you're in conjunction with another blitzer in the, you're running there's an aim and a blast, then you can't have two guys in the same gap, right? But if you're just solo in one of the gaps, then that's what we tell them, okay? All right, so that's aim, blast, and crash. Crash would just be the same exact reads, only versus the tackle, right? Stinger, coming off the edge now. Our aiming point is 1 yard behind the offensive tackle, and our aiming point is the toes of the near back, right? And we're going to key the near back. If it's run to us, we're coming underneath the back's inside shoulder, we're going to wrong arm it, and we're going to spill the ball. If it's run away, we're going to bend, because the majority of time when we run a stinger, we've got something coming outside for contain. A stinger, you have no contain responsibility. So we are going to bend like a son of a gun down the line on any run away, all right? If we were to get a fan block, so we're coming off the edge and the tight end or the tackle fans out at us, we're telling those guys we want to spill everything. We want to bend, we want to come hard. We're not going to tell them to run around a fan block. We bang it and come underneath. So we're going to sell it like we're coming outside. He fans at us, we're going to bang the inside shoulder, and we're going to come underneath. All right, and so that's a drill. We'll drill the different blocks that we get, which, I never used to do that. Back before we started running this, we're going to blitz. We just, blitz and, get to the heels and don't go any further. It's kind of what everybody says, right? But it's really based off the reaction of the blocks. Is that what we're looking for? So you got to practice those, all right? So if it's, so you come underneath the tight end of the tackle. First pass, because we're on a stinger path coming underneath, we want to push the pocket. We always want to be underneath the running back, and we want to be in the quarterback's face. So we don't give them a two-way go on a stinger, because we got something coming outside, all right? So we want to get the quarterback flushed out of the pocket. We want to push the pocket. We want somebody in the quarterback's face. So we're always underneath the running back and in the quarterback's face, all right? Just the opposite is now our fire path. Our fire path now is our contain blitz. Our aiming point is 5 yards outside the offensive tackle and 2 yards outside the deepest remaining back. So we're keeping the ball on our inside shoulder. All right, we're going to key the near back. Now if it's run to, we're going to attack the back's outside shoulder. We're going to hard join it. We're going to force the ball back inside. We're a contain player. If it's run away, now we're going to play naked, boot, reverse. All right, just the opposite of stinger. Right? If it's pass, we always want to be on the upfield shoulder of the quarterback. Right? So again, we'll go through those blocks. Now you combine the stingers and fires off the edge. So we have flood. Flood is a combination of one fire and one stinger. So it would be the linebacker, say it was the Sam linebacker and the rover with the two guys blitzing. All right? And I'll show you some of these. All right? It's two off the edge. So if it's flood, the Sam is running the stinger and the rover is running the fire. So we're two off the edge. The defensive end is going to long stick. And I'll show you the wristband, how that ties in, okay? If it's cross, we're just changing the pass. It's the old X-blitz off the edge. Now the linebacker, the Sam, would be up the field on the fire path, and the down safety, the rover, would make it look like flood, and then he would come underneath the linebacker that's running the fire, okay? So we have flood and cross, two off the edge. Wave, we have a fire, and then we have some type of, this is America's blitz. We get the long stick by the end. We get the tight scrape by the Mike or the Sam or the outlaw, one of the inside linebackers with a fire off the edge. And then one that we run a tremendous amount of that we really love, both versus run and pass, is smoke. Smoke for us is the defensive end. He's on, we call it speed. So he's up the field. He's on a contained path. He's speed up the field. And then the safety, he's going to show fire like he's coming off the edge, because we run so many fires off the edge with our down safeties. He creeps like he's coming on fire. He ends up the field, and then he runs the stinger underneath the defensive end, okay? So that's how we break down our blitz pass, all right? Good so far, all right? So I don't want to get out of my PowerPoint here. I'll show you our 2019 wristband as soon as I get through the PowerPoint. I have an old one here that's coming up next, but the one that we ran last year is a little bit more detailed. Okay, so this would be an old one. This was from, I think, maybe 2014, 2013, back when we were at Bates. All right, so this would be the wristband for the inside linebackers, the Sam, the Mike, and the Outlaw, and the Rover and the Will, and the free safety. The corners really don't need a wristband because they're going to be told what coverage they're playing. Once in a while, we'll run a cowboy, but it's not part of the wristband. So we don't have, the corners really don't even need it. So the Rover, the Will, and the Sam, the free safety, those three safeties who are all kind of interchangeable, they need to have one, and then the three inside linebackers need to have one. So up in the top left in the red, we have our jokers. Okay, so you'll notice there's no blitz direction on here. Okay, and I'll tell you why. When we first put this in, Skip will remember this, we were over at Amherst year one, and we thought they were going to be a big, tight side run team, three-man surface run team. And so we had all these pressures on here with our Cherokees. It would say tight, safety, fire, backer, blast. Tight, safety, smoke, backer, blast. And probably we had, I don't know, say 6 Cherokees on here. 3 of them were tight. We get in the game, and all of a sudden, they're running no tight ends. And our tight pressures meant nothing. We had to go in at halftime and be like, okay, guys, we're changing all the tight pressures now to back or whatever it was. So I'm not really smart, but we figured it out. Coach Capone would give me one good idea, a day, maybe a week. And we figured out, let's take the directions off and make it part of the call. Okay, so now we have whatever blitz directions you want to come up with. You'll see how the 2019 that we use this year is different than this one. It's a little bit more detailed, but here's one from our, back when we first switched it over. So with jokers, joker 1 would be backer blast. Now that could be from what directions? Field, bomb, away, okay? Any of those directions, all right? And then the coverage that's tied in with it. Cover 1, cover 3, fence was our goal line. So you got backer blast, Mike aim, Mike in the A gap, backer A opposite, so the backer to the blitz side. So the reason it says backer, it could be the Sam or it could be the Outlaw. It all depends on who is to the blitz direction side. So if we called bomb and the back was offset to the left and the Sam was to the left, well, the Sam, I'm to the side of the back, I'm running the pressure. Make sense? Okay, so backer blast, Mike aim, backer A opposite, and this ties in with the defensive line wristband, which I'm going to show you in a second. Backer crash. Then we have our Apaches. Sam Outlaw blast. Sam Outlaw, we changed it. Here it was Stinger. Now we run Sam Outlaw crash. Okay? Do those need direction? No, they don't, right? Because why? Their position. We've said the Sam and the Outlaw, you guys are running the blitz no matter what. Sam Outlaw blast, both the Sam and the Outlaw hitting the B gap. Sam Outlaw stinger, both guys coming off the edge on the stinger. Now it's Sam Outlaw crash, bringing them through the C gap. Backer crash, Mike aim. All right, so again, we need a direction with this. So let's say we called field Apache 3. We know the blitz is coming from the field. We make the Ray Lee call to the field. Okay, we've already made the call. Say the ball's on the right hash, we're going Lee, Lee, Lee. So the backer who deployed to the field, which would be the Sam, knows that he's to the field, I'm running the blitz, and the Mike, we're telling the Mike in this blitz that he's running the blitz. So it would be the Sam linebacker running a crash, the Mike running an aim, the D-line's wristband corresponds with the linebacker's wristband as to what they're doing. We'll see that in a second, okay? Excuse me. I need a water, Skip, right? All right. Apache 4, Mike backer pick. The guy that's listed first goes first. The guy that's listed second goes second. It's an A and a B gap cross blitz. You guys all run it, right? So here, let's say it was tight Apache 4. The Mike and the backer, so the Mike would go through the B gap, the backer to the tight side would go through the A gap. Apache 5, backer blast, Mike aim, blast and aim, and then backer fire, Mike wave. There's another pressure in there, and you'll see how our 2019 are different, and I think they're a lot better now, all right? Mohawks, Okay, Mohawk 1, rover will fire. It's double edge pressure, both the rover and the will coming off the edge. Safety fire, safety stinger. So we got a fire, we got a stinger, safety smoke, running the smoke, end up the field, safety under, and then 2 calls where we're telling the will that you're running it. Okay, Cherokees, which was probably well, not probably, but definitely the #1 thing that we do. Cherokees, safety fire, backer blast. So the safety to the blitz direction side, field, bomb, away, whatever it is, runs the fire path. The backer to that side runs a blast. Safety backer flood, 2 off the edge. Safety smoke, backer blast. So now we got the end up the field, the down safety underneath, and the backer inserting into the B gap. Safety fire, away backer blast. So safety fire, the backer that's away from the direction call. So if it was field, the backer to the boundary would run blast. So it gives us kind of double edge pressure, which has been really good for us because we're not always just one side overload type. We can bring it from both sides. So you get teams changing their protection a little bit to your, to your overloads, and you bring both sides. It's been pretty good for us, right? Safety fire, backer crash, safety fire, Mike wave, and then our gangs. Okay, you look at our gangs. What's it a combination of? Sam Outlaw blast. Well, what blitz is that? It's Apache 1. Mike aim. What blitz is that? Joker 2. It's a combination of Jokers and Apaches. It's all 3 linebackers going now with our gangs. Sam Outlaw crash, Mike aim, Mike Sam pick, Outlaw blast. Okay? So now you go to our defensive line, our Viper, our nose, and our anchor. They all have this wristband, which corresponds to the blitz. All right? So this past year, we had the same exact wristband for all 9 games. We never changed it. Now, you certainly could change it if you wanted to, but what we felt is the blitz pass that we have on our wristband are the best blitz pass that we can think of. Now, if you want to add one, take one off, you can do that week to week, right? But it's just a matter of, how much work you want to put in. So we put this in, and the guys get the wristband day 1 of preseason, and I'll tell you, by about week 4, the D-line, they barely even have to look at their wristband because they've memorized that, hey, on Apache 1, it's a double-sided pressure. I know we're base on both, all 3 of us are base. They don't even really need to look. They look just because they have to, but they've pretty much memorized it, right? But if you got a new guy going in the game and you say, oh boy, this kid, Johnny, he's taken like 2 reps in practice. He doesn't know our pressures. Well, look at the wristband, okay? If I'm the defensive lineman to the call, and I'll explain that, tells me spark. Okay, I'm going to spark. I don't care. Johnny doesn't care what the blitz is. He just needs to know a Ray Lee call, all right, and look whether he's to the call or away from the call. Okay, so how this is broken down in the wristband for our 3 down guys. And you could do it for your 4 down guys, however you want to work it for your defense, okay? But what the T, the N, and the A mean on this, all right, let's take a look at Joker 1. It says T, base, N, op, A, base, okay? T means to the call. N means nose. A means away from the call, all right? So if I'm a defensive lineman and we're running field Cherokee 1 and I get a Lee call and I'm on the left, I know I'm to the call. I look at my wristband, it says base. I'm done. I don't need to know anything else. If it's Mohawk 1, it says T, spark. Now, why on that Mohawk 1, on Apache 1, and on Apache 2, is there no A, you ask? Because they're double-sided pressures. So both sides are actually to the call. Make sense? So on Mohawk 1, it's rover will fire. So both ends are to the call. The nose is the nose, all right? Mohawk 2, for example, it's safety fire. So let's say we called field Mohawk 2. And we came out, the ball's on the right hash. The down safety goes Lee. I'm the defensive lineman, defensive end to the field. I look at my wristband, it says spark. I spark into the B gap. Nose says base, away says base, okay? Now I can get into all of these different calls on here but they're more specific to the 3-3 than they would be to your defense. But the one thing I will tell you is if you look at our Cherokees in the away defensive end, all of them say Oscar. Okay, what's Oscar mean for us? Oscar means you are a quarterback player regardless. So what we tell our guys is when we're running one-sided pressures, overload type pressures, if they're coming from the left and you're the defensive end on the right, you want to build a wall on the backside because we're going to drive the blitz to you. Right? So you're a quarterback player no matter what. And you'll see when we get into some of the zone read stuff, all right, how that end on the backside, whether it's always going to be a give read for the quarterback. Because if he's reading the defensive end away from our pressure, he's getting the defensive end sitting and squeezing and playing the cue. So it's always going to be give read, and the give read is going to run right into what? Right into our blitz. Okay, so we always build in on the backside of our one-sided pressures for the most part. We build in Oscar to the backside. All right, so the different movements for the defensive line is they have spark. Spark is a one-gap movement. Okay, so 5 technique going from the C gap into the B gap. We have long stick. So if you look at Cherokee 4, it says T, L stick. That's long stick. That's a 2-gap movement. So he's going from a 5 technique into the A gap now. All right, we have, we weren't running a spout, spark out. We wanted to make it really clear. Skip's guys are having a real hard time figuring this out. So we built it in, spark out, so that you get your ass to the outside. Right, so we know we got them there exactly. We weren't running the speed. You'll see how the 2019 wristband's a little bit more detailed. That kind of gives you an idea, okay? All right, we good there? All right, so let's talk about some of this stuff. Direction calls, defaults, and disguises, because this is critical to any blitz package that you run, whether it's 3-3 stack, whether it's 4-4, it doesn't matter. In my opinion, these are some things that are really important. Goose Island. All right. Okay, we never huddle. First of all players must look at their wristband every time a call comes in, base or blitz. We probably play 3 or 4 snaps of base defense a game. We will play a decent amount of bear. So whether we're in bear, moving to bear, playing stack 5, base defense, doesn't matter. Everybody has to look at their wristband. So that offenses, you smart offensive guys, hey, they didn't look at their wristband this time, they're not blitzing. Doesn't take long to figure that out. It's kind of like the Ray Lee calls. We'll talk about that in a second. All right. You guys always trying to, find a way to get one up on us. Okay. So they always have to look at their wristband. Okay. We direction all our pressures with a Ray Lee call. It could be Ram Lion. It could be Rip Liz. Okay. Whatever you want. We talked about field and boundary pressures. Make the call before the call comes out. A critical thing here is the defensive line must get the call clear and early. We went going back. A silent defense is a dead defense. If the defensive lineman can't get the Ray Lee call, that's all they friggin' need is the Ray Lee call. So you get your mutes out there who just want to go Ray, Ray, Ray. No, you got to train them in practice. It's got to be Ray, Ray, Ray. They got to make the calls loud. The defensive line has got to hear it. Because the worst thing is you get defensive linemen turn around giving you the palms up, right? Drives you friggin' crazy. But they need to get their calls, right? So you got to be loud, you got to be clear, and you got to make that call as early as you can. All right. So who makes the calls? Because you could have 8 guys out there, everybody going Ray, Ray, Lee, Lee, and then who the hell do I listen to? So we build it into what type of pressure we're running as to who is responsible for making the call. Because a big problem that I've always had is the Mike linebacker is so used to making the calls that he'll want to make the call every time. You got to say, shut up, it's not your call. Okay, so we build it in. Cherokees and Mohawks involve one of the down safeties blitzing, correct? So the rover of the will, whoever's blitzing, is going to make the Ray Lee call. If it's a Joker, an Apache, or a gang, the Sam, the Mike, and the Outlaw are all involved in the blitz. Those guys make the call. All right, and we'll designate that. It can't always be the Mike. You could make it the Mike on all of those, but we'll make it as to who's running the blitz. So it could be, if the Mike's running it, he calls it. If the Sam's running it, he calls it. right? However you want to work that, those guys, your inside linebackers, are the guys that are making the calls, all right? So you just, you want to set who makes your calls, whoever you're most comfortable with. And then the free safety, he makes all the coverage calls. So he gets everybody right. He's got to be your smartest player out there. He gets the call to the corners and to the down safeties. If we're spinning the coverage, whatever we're doing, he makes all the pass strength calls and coverage calls. Must make dummy calls when not pressuring. So if we're playing base, we're moving a bear, whatever, we want to make dummy calls. The guys know that we're not blitzing, so you can make Ray Lee calls, whatever you want to make. We've made back calls, anything you want, but you got to make every single snap. Guys got to be talking, making calls. Here's the big one. All right, how we don't get out of pressures. Default all pressures. All right, whatever you want to do, have a default. For us, it's deployment. So when we deploy, if the ball is on the right upright or right hash, we are deploying to the left, to the field. So it would be Lee, Lee, Lee. Let's say we called a tight pressure and the team came out with no tight end. The guys would all look to you and be like, coach, there's no tight end. Where do we blitz? Well, we don't have that problem. If there's no tight end, where's it default to? Deployment. So if it was a Cherokee, the Rover and the Sam would run the blitz. It might not be ideal. It might not be exactly what we wanted, but you know what? We're blitzing. You're getting pressure. All right? So we never have our guys go, well, I didn't know because there wasn't the running back wasn't offset. He was in the pistol. They were dot. Quarterback was under center. You said it was a bomb pressure, coach. Well, it doesn't matter. If you don't have the back offset, then you default it and you run it from the field and you run a pressure. Simple as that. You could have it tight, could be your default, field could be your, whatever you want to make. Have a default. That is absolutely critical for us not being able to, for us being able to not come out of pressures. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? So our default for us is deployment. It's always going to be that way. All right? Now, there's certain things in there, if the back starts out in pistol and, he shifts late, we will change our direction of our pressures on a shift. We will not change our pressure direction on motion. That makes sense? We'll change our coverage with motion, but we won't check our pressure. I hate the word check. We won't change our pressure with motion. But if you shift the back or trade the tight end, they have to reset. So we'll check the pressure on a shift, but we will only check the coverage, change the coverage versus motion. We'll never change a blitz versus motion. Okay, good? All right, have a set disguise. Talked about this a little bit. If we're blitzing from the inside, show outside. If we're blitzing from the left, show right. The Rover, you could designate, hey, if the Will and the Outlaw are blitzing, then Rover Sam, you guys are always going. You could tie however you want to do it. If you were gonna run an Apache, your disguise is a Cherokee. If you're going to run a Cherokee, your disguise is an Apache. We used to just kind of let the guys mill around and up and in, but it really had no rhyme or reason. The whole key of the thing is the free safety, because that's what the offensive coaches. Don't give the quarterbacks a lot of credit because there aren't a lot that are going to figure that out. But certainly with film study nowadays, it's gotten a lot better. But certainly the guy up in the booth, the free safety is the key. If the free safety, you could have all these guys moving up around, in and out, and all this, and the free safety has already come down to one side. Well, everybody knows where the blitz is coming from. The free safety is coming down to cover it, right? So you got to spend some time with your free safety and work with him on his disguise. We want to hold that disguise as long as possible, okay? And it's got to be tied in with the creep of the pressure. So, for example, if the Rover is coming on a blitz and the free safety is coming down to replace him, the Rover is going to start his creep. The free safety will tie it in with him, and it'll be tied in together. And you'll see some of that on film, okay? But the free safety is the key. He can't come down too early because it tells everybody in the stadium exactly where the pressure is coming from. And I think it's better when we've been really good, we've done a really good job with our disguises. And if I got a couple clips of Bates on here. We were playing toughs, and we had our pressure coming from the right, and it was a bomb pressure, and the back was off, it was away pressure, and the back was offset to the left. So we made a Ray call. And you can see the lineman pointing to where the blitz is and the quarterback. So what do? They flip the back to the other side. So what do? Because it's a shift, we flip our blitz to the other side. So then the quarterback redirections, it goes the other side, changes protection to the other side. But then we show from the right, because we're blitzing from the left, and what do? Timeout. Okay? So when you get good at screwing with quarterbacks, that's when you get really good with the pressures and they become effective. So you got to spend time with your disguise. Okay? And have a set way of doing it. All right? Good? All right. So here's a couple of examples. Okay? So this one right here is Cherokee 7. This is safety backer cross. All right? So in this case right here, what would the directions possibly be, not knowing where the ball is on the field? Okay, if you're paying attention so far, you should be able to tell me bomb for one of them, okay, because the running back, I don't want to get, let's see right here. Look at this, Coach Capone, huh? Got a laser pointer, right? Here's the running back, huh, Coach Capone? Write that one down. All right, back's offset right here. All right, so it could be bomb. We're bombing the back. All right, what do we have for a surface here? Tight end, 3-man surface. Here's the center, 2-man surface. So what could this be? It also could be open. All right, maybe it could be not Rover Will. Maybe it could be Rover Sam, positional called. Okay, or maybe it could be strong. Where's passing strength? 1, 2, right here. Okay, tight end. This is speed for passing strength. So this blitz could be bomb. It could be open. It could be strong. It could be Rover Sam. It could be any of those combinations. All right, that we could run the same exact blitz. All right, so if you go back to our wristband, on this one, we only have 6 Cherokees. All right, but if you do the math, we have 11 potential directions, right? We have 6 Cherokee paths. In a game, we have the potential off this wristband right here. Our wristband now has 8. We have the potential to run 66 different Cherokees from 11 different directions with the same 6 blitz paths. So you add it all up, I think on our wristband 2019 right now, between Jokers, Apaches, Mohawks, Cherokees, and gangs, I think we had like the potential to run 358 different blitzes. Tell me how any of your teams, your kids, can remember more than 10 thunder, lightning, tornado, torpedo, hurricane. How can they remember? We can run 300, potentially 300. Do we ever? No. But do we have the potential? Yeah, it's in our toolbox. So if you're giving us a crap load of tight run, well, we can run tight pressures. We can run 6 different paths at you out of Cherokees. We can run 8 different paths out of Apaches. So we've got answers to everything that you want to do. All right, starting to make sense? All right, so this is Cherokee 7, safety backer cross. All right, so the linebacker here, the Sam, this would be a Lee call. The Sam walks up and he's going to show flood. When we run our pressures off the edge, we want to run them from the line of scrimmage, okay? Because it doesn't do you any good to run a pressure off the edge and hit it from depth. If you've got to run a stinger and bend off the edge, you can't do that from depth, right? Our interior blitzes, our aim, our blast, and our crash, we hit those from depth. Anything off the edge, if it's an inside linebacker, we want them to walk up and show it on the line of scrimmage, okay? So what we're going to show is we're going to show flood. That's our basic 2 off the edge. But is it flood or is it cross or is it smoke? You don't know what it is, okay? And we could be showing on the line of scrimmage here, but running something interior over here, okay? So the linebacker walks up, shows flood. He's going to run the speed path. So he's going to be upfield on the fire, 2 yards outside the deepest remaining back. He's the contained player. The rover or the will, in this case, the rover is coming off the edge. He wants to show fire initially. So he's out here, he's going to creep, make it look like he's running fire, and then we're speed, and then we're underneath. Okay, we don't want to come, the diagram is not great right here, right? I'm not real good with, kind of Neanderthalish, not real good with the diagrams. But when we teach it, it's creep, show fire, and then come underneath, all right? The defensive end to the call on his wristband, it would say L stick, long stick, 2-gap movement. He's going down to the A gap. The nose would say A opposite. So he gets a Lee call. I'm the nose guard. Lee, A opposite. I go right, right? Friggin' Cone could figure that out. Coach Capone figured it out for many years. So even Coach Capone can figure it out. Coach Moore, and I know you can, right? All right. So defensive end to the call would be long stick, nose A opposite. Defensive end away would be in Oscar. Okay. The Mike is the free hitter here because we're A gap, we're B gap, we're C gap contained. The Mike has no gap. He's a free hitter for us. Okay. And we gave you the directions there. All right. Okay. Here's an Apache. Apache is a combination of who? 2 of the 3 inside linebackers. That's the blitz category. All right. For presentation purposes, it's the same exact formation. Okay. Here's the center, tight end, 2-man service. So again, Apache 6. For us this year on our wristband, it was Mike, backer, pick. So who goes first? The Mike. What gaps he go in? B gap. Backer goes second. He goes in A gap. X blitz on the inside. Okay. So here, again, same exact directions. Bomb, open, strong, Sam, Mike, positions, anything you want. Okay. So the first player listed, he's hitting the A gap. The Mike's coming off his ass into the B gap. Okay. We're contained over here to this side, away from the pressure. We're in Oscar. Nose goes A opposite. Okay. So on the defensive line's wristband, it would say to the call, speed, nose A opposite, anchor away from the call, Oscar. All right. So that's an Apache. Mohawks. Mohawk is a combination of down safeties. Rover will, both, or just a single safety blitz. In this case, it's Mohawk 4, safety smoke. So this is involving the down safety and the defensive end. All right. So smoke, the defensive end is speed. The safety shows fire. He comes underneath. The nose goes A opposite. Okay. The Mike is still a B gap play. Mike is now Sam is a free hitter. The Mike is backside A gap because he's going to be coming underneath in the B gap, toes to the back. He's on the dive. He's on the quarterback, right? So if they're running zone read right here, okay, and they're reading the defensive end, what's the defensive end doing? Coming up the field. What's that read for the cue? Give. Boom. Now we tackle the dive, okay? So directions here, again, same thing. Bomb, open, strong, or it could be just the rover, okay? Jokers are one of the 3 inside linebackers. Here, this one is backer crash. So directions on this one could be what? Tight, away. Here's the running back over here. So if a blitz was coming over here, it would be bomb. If it comes over here, it's an away blitz, right? It could be weak. Here's passing strength. Depending on where the ball is on the field, it could be field or boundary. So you could run this blitz all those different ways. Backer runs the crash. Again, as I told you guys, our interior blitzes, we hit them from depth. So he'd hit the C gap. The anchor would spark into the B gap. Okay, tight, away, weak, or it could be just the outlaw. It could be a direction call. All right, last one here is gangs. So this would be gangs 2 on our wristband. Sam outlaw crash, Mike aim. Sam and the outlaw are running the crash. It's the double-sided blitz. So on the D-line's wristband, it would say 2 and N because there's no away on this. The only thing we do on our gangs, because they're all double-sided blitzes, is the Mike gives the call to the nose to tell him which way he wants the nose to go and which way he's going. And the nose is A opposite. So here the Mike would say Lee. The nose would go right. The Mike would go A gap, spark with the ends, crash with the Sam and the outlaw. Okay? So coverages that we play, again, you tie this into your, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because we're not talking about 3-3. We're talking about designing a blitz package, okay? But coverages that we play cover 3, cover 1, fence with our jokers, We play hut coverage, which is 3 under 3 deep with our Apaches, our Mohawks, and our Cherokees. We'll play an ice coverage, which is our way of handling 4 verticals. That we use that versus any 2x2 sets. Okay, it's a robber concept. Slice coverage, that's a combination of hut and ice for us with Apaches. So in certain formations, we're playing hot. In certain formations, we're playing ice. Okay, and then we've got roll, lock. Lock is with our 6-man pressures. Robbers with bear. Fence is our 7 across zone goal line. We don't want to play man down there. Okay, all right. So let me get to Sue. Let me get out of this and. Coach Hath, am I still good?
All I got is your face right now, Coach.
Okay. No, that's not what I want. Right here. Okay. Okay, do you have it now, Coach?
Nope, still just seeing you.
All right, why? I'm trying to get my video up. Don't have that either?
Nothing.
All right, I'm struggling here with trying to get video up. Why would my huddle not come up on this?
Do you have it open in a tab already?
I do.
And when you click share screen, what does it give you?
I don't see anything that says share screen.
Not down at the very bottom of your screen, green button, or maybe at the very top?
Share screen. Oh, okay, here we go. Wristband.
That looks like it's going to work. Gotcha, Coach.
This isn't the one I wanted, but I'll see if I can find my other one. Okay, this was back when we were at Bates. All right. Okay, so here we're running either a bomb or a boundary pressure. Okay, it's Cherokee. Okay, so we're showing pressure on the left. Pressure's coming from the right of the screen. It's something 2 off the edge, so this is like cross here. Backer's up, he's under. Coach, I want to get to my stuff from this year. This isn't what I want. All right, hold on.
You know, Coach Capone's probably laughing right now.
Of course he is. Can you see what I'm doing right now?
Nope, I just see the tight view of the bait stuff.
I can't get my video to come up. Here we go. How about now?
Gotcha.
Oh, awesome.
Like those
Coach-
Carolina blue unis, man. Those are
Coach
sharp.
Capone, I figured that out myself. I didn't even need my wife's help. So you can stick that one. All right, here we go. All right, so we're obviously in the blue here. All right, this first one is Cherokee 3. Safety smoke, Mike aim. Right, it could be boundary or it could be bomb. So you'll see the running back right here offset, ball's on the hash, so it could be a boundary pressure or it could be a bomb pressure. Right, free safety's 81. Okay, he's coming down. You'll see the blitzer coming in. All right, so this is safety smoke, Mike aim. So our down safety is right here, our will. Our end is going to be up the field on speed. Our nose is A opposite. Our Mike is A gap. Our end is Oscar, and he's running the stinger underneath here. Okay, and as I told you, on a stinger, we want the blitzer where? Always underneath the running back, because he's got a contained player outside of him. So he should not be on the outside of the back here. All right, so now the guy that's really horrible here is the nose. So you look what they do, right? It's slide left, it's man right, right? The center slides with the nose sparking and then comes back and blocks the Mike. The nose should be in the A gap, up the field right now in the quarterback's face, right? But the blitz is going to drive it to the defensive end over here, who's in Oscar, so he's a contained player. He's always outside. We get the quarterback off his landmark just a little bit. Right there, 2 steps off his landmark, bang. We get a shot in the queue by, it wasn't even part of our blitz. It was the backside end, okay? All right, this one is Apache 3. Backer crash, Mike aim. Okay, this could be field or it could be away. Ball's on the hash, back's offset over here, okay? So it could be an away pressure or it could be a field pressure. So this is backer crash, Mike aim. So let's say that it's field, okay? Here's the Sam, here's the Mike. Now I told you that when we hit our interior blitzes, we hit them from depth. Well, this kid's a friggin' pain in my ass, and he would do what he wanted to do, and he would walk up and show it. And the sad thing about it is he gets rewarded here for it, which, you know, as a coach, even pisses you off even more, all right? Got Mike aim, all right? So let's look what they're doing here, right? They're blocking the center down on the nose. They're pulling the guard for the play side linebacker. Okay, there's base blocking the 5 technique, and they're bringing the H-back back across. So this is like counter, right? With the center pulling and the H-back is the wrap guy. Okay, this is some version of like GH counter, CH counter, okay? So we get the spark from 44, the DN. Okay, we get those 3. We get the Mike, the nose, and the DN all jammed up inside, and you watch 8 come off the edge. Ball's out, our ball. Okay. Come on. Okay, this one, Mohawk 2, safety fire. This would be either boundary or away. So the blitz is coming from over here. Back's offset here, so it's an away pressure or it's a boundary pressure. This is Mohawk 2, so we're just running a fire. So the D-line is wristband 2, the call is going to be spark. Nose A opposite. Oscar, okay? It's just a single safety fire here. So we get the spark by the DN, right? Now you look at the blocking scheme here. Traditional zone scheme. The right tackle is going to zone the 5 technique. The guard, if he's coached well, would what? He'd block the spark. But he's so worried about the linebacker, he goes right up to the backer right now. Okay? And then the right tackle looks like a friggin' traffic cop. Right? Oh, he didn't block anybody. Okay, they scoop the nose, trying to get up to the Mike. They're trying to cut off on the backside with the tight end and get the tackle up. They're so worried about our linebackers. They don't block the backside defensive end who's up the field, and we get both defensive ends in the blitz. Neither one of them were part of, they weren't even the blitzers, okay? Apache 4, here's a pick. Backer, Mike, pick. Okay, this could be tight, it could be field, it could be away. Here's the center, here's the tight end, Here's the back. Tight, away, balls on the hash, field. Could be any one of those combinations. It's backer, Mike, pick. So who's first? 8. He's A gap. 77 is B gap. Nose A opposite. There it is. There it is. There it is. Okay, we're speed up the field with the right defensive end so we can flush everything out of there inside. Our nose is horrible. Okay, but the blitz was effective. All right, Mohawk 4, safety smoke. This could be boundary or could be bomb. So where's it coming from? Bomb, boundary. Could be one of those directions. I love this one. I love smoke from the boundary. Okay, you get the end up the field, you get the down safety reducing and coming underneath and chase a lot of things down to the front side. You get a more athletic kid there, run a ton of boundary smoke. All right, so here it is. DN is going to be speed. Okay, and here is the will coming underneath. They're running screen. We always put somebody with screen responsibility. Okay, sometimes it's the nose, sometimes it's the mic. Here in this case, it's the mic because the mic's the free hitter. So we put the mic on screen. The mic is sitting on the back, he's on screen, and the big fella picks it off. Okay, you can see the pressure there. Okay, all right, 2 more here. Okay, this one is Cherokee 3, same as the first one. Safety smoke, mic aim. This is boundary or bomb. Now, tell me what is different with this. Look in the backfield. What do you got? You got 2 backs. We call bomb. So how do we determine what back we're bombing? We determine the true tailback. Or you could determine 44. You could determine whatever you want. For us, we determine versus 2 backs that the true tailback is the guy that we're going to bomb. So in this case, it's 7. So that's where our direction is. So you'll see here, we got Mike aim inside. We got smoke coming outside. Sorry. Okay, we got Oscar with our defensive end, 44. So here's the pressure coming here. Where's the, guys, where's the quarterback going to flush? He's not going to flush into the blitz. He's going to flush away from the blitz. Build a wall on the backside. 44 does a pretty good job here. He stays outside, shoulders square. I love that, right? Watch his shoulders. 44, shoulders square. Now he has ability to go in either direction. He doesn't bend, okay? So now we're flushing the cue. He's out. It's 44, turns it back into the blitz. All right, last one here, Cherokee 1, safety fire, back or blast. This could be field or away, right? So you'll notice here, so this is going to be field or away. We're showing blitz inside here with the mic. Here's the free safety. The blitz is coming over here. We got motion. We're not changing the blitz. We'll change the coverage. They started 3-by-1 FSL. They go to 2-by-2. So we'll check the coverage from hot to ice. The free safety will handle that. Okay. And we're bringing 3 off the side here. So we've got safety fire, backer blast, nose opposite. Mike would be the backside A-gap player. And we tell our defensive end to this, take it thick. Make the tackle determine if he's going to come down on the B or out on the fire or hunker on you, but somebody's coming clean. So you watch what happens here. The tackle's so worried about blocking our blitzer that our defensive end is not touched. So we always tell our guys, you expect to come clean on the blitz. Just because it's designed for this guy doesn't mean the protection or blocking scheme won't unfold and you become the blitzer. So everybody's got to be ready to become the blitzer. So you'll see it here. Blast. It's pass. He's got a 2-way go. He just buries his head. It's a shitty blitz path. He ought to sell it one way and go the other. Nose should be over here. Okay. But we get 2-on-1 on the tackle. Right. We get him drilled. We get it out. Okay. That's back to the top. All right, Coach, I think where are we time-wise? I'm probably over, so.
Yeah, we're doing all right, Coach. You can kind of wrap up a little bit, or
All right. So I'll wrap it up and I'll stay on. I mean, I've got more cut-ups, you know, from last year. The one thing I do want to show you, let me get out of this. So if guys that want to stay on, I'm going to pull up the 2019 wristband here. Guys that want to get off, I appreciate you taking time. Hopefully you picked one or two things up and it was worth your time. I appreciate you guys. I wish you all the best of luck. Stay healthy through this whole Corona virus. As Bob Marley keeps me laughing every day with his Corona 2020. But again, Coach Hath, I appreciate it. Coach Capone, I appreciate it. And I'll see if I can pull up that wristband, then I'll open up and take any questions. Can you see that there, Hath?
yeah, I got you, Coach.
Just me?
No, I got the wristbands up.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this was 2019. So you'll see here, here's our linebacker one. So we had six Apaches, we had 4 Jokers, we had 6 Mohawks, we had 8 Cherokees, we had 3 gangs, 2 Hawks. So, you know, you take 11 directions times 8, you got 88 potential Cherokees, you got 66 Mohawks, 66 Apaches, 44 Jokers, blah, 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 you got it all. Okay, and so you see now with all the Oscars, building that in on the backside, spout and speed, long stick, you know, different movements for the defensive line. All right?
Awesome, man.
You guys got any questions?
You use Excel for your wristband?
Yes, we use Excel for it.
Yep. All right, fellas, I'm going to stop the recording.